Well, I think it's a combination, you all, of two things. Number one, too little, too late, because it should have happened weeks ago, number one. And number two, and more importantly, I think the Chicago Bears are in CYA mode, cover your you-know-what. Because the fact of the matter is that I think Trestman needs to go. I think Phil Emery needs to go. I think Jay Cutler needs to go. Ownership for the Chicago Bears should clean house because it's been an absolute catastrophe as far as I'm concerned. When you consider the money that they're paying Jay Cutler, the highest paid offensive player in the game of football, for what? I understand that he's athletic. I understand that he has skills. I understand that he has a rifle of an arm. But there is something to be said for intangibles, your ability to galvanize the troops around you to lead, not just with your words, not just verbally, but by example. And the fact of the matter is that hasn't been Jay Cutler. I'm telling you right now, if I'm the ownership of the Chicago Bears, Phil Emery, the general manager, I want him sitting in my office and I want him to explain to me, what was it that you saw in this guy that deserved a $100 million contract? Were you not watching him in practice? Did you not watch how people responded to him? Did you not watch his ability to lead and whether or not he had those intangibles that come with it? Were you not paying attention? Trestman is supposed to be Mr. Fix-It when it comes to quarterbacks. I know everybody wants to talk about Trestman, knows the game of football. I don't want to hear that. Nobody's challenging his knowledge, his acumen when it comes to football. We all understand that by and large, coaches that coach on the NFL level know a thing or two about X's and O's, otherwise they wouldn't be in those positions. But you have to be a leader of men. You have to be able to inspire. You have to be able to peel and maximize whatever level of talent and intangibles and so on that somebody has inside of them. Trestman has not proven the ability to do that. When you fail to live up to what got you the job, then we've got a problem. We've talked about Jay Gruden in the past, Skip, with the Washington Redskins. My only question about him is, did he get the head coaching job for the Redskins because he marketed himself as somebody that could fix whatever ailed RG3? If that's how he got the job, he should go too. Whatever your job description entails, you have an obligation to live up to it. Jay Cutler has not lived up to it. He's barely ever lived up to it since he's arrived in Chicago. He had one good year, and that's about it. And as far as I'm concerned, everybody that points to these other things, well, you know, being diabetic or whatever it is and it having something to do with his moods. And listen, I respect that because I'm not knowledgeable about that, and I'm going to take folks at their word and lean on their expertise when they say it can affect your moods, how you communicate with people, etc. But in the end, if that's playing a role in your inability to do your job, then that's problematic too. So no matter which way you slice it, whether it's legitimate health concerns, whether he's just a moody individual, whether he's just somebody that's incapable of leading or whatever the case may be, with Brandon Marshall, with Alshon Jeffrey, with Matt Forte, with Martellus Bennett, Jay Cutler has been a shell of the quarterback he was supposed to be. And because of that, he deserves this benching. It was long overdue. And if they're really smart, they'll get rid of him. Because if you know anything about the city of Chicago, which you do, Skip, because you work there, you know once they're done with you, they're done with you. And they are clearly done with Jay Cutler, as they should be.
So you think it was a good move to bench Jay Cutler right now with 2 games remaining?
I think they should have done it weeks ago, and I think they should get him out of town as quickly as they possibly can. If I could withhold his paycheck, I'd do that too, because I think he's done nothing.
Okay, I want to be clear about what I'm about to say. I was clear with you after the second game of this year when some called what Jay Cutler did at San Francisco in a Sunday night game his signature game of his time in Chicago. He threw 4 second-half touchdown passes, no interceptions. They pulled off at that point, shocking win at Santa Clara against the 49ers, who had won convincingly on opening day against my Cowboys. And I still told you the next week, and I still wrote for ESPN.com, I am done with the guy from my school, Vanderbilt University. I've seen enough. I don't trust it. I don't buy it. It's time for the Bears to move on because he's never going to amount to what they have paid him to amount to. We've talked all about the body language, the lack of leadership, just the general lack of caring enough about winning football games. Now, to yesterday. I'm not buying what the Bears did yesterday, Stephen A., because I don't get it. Strategically, it makes no sense to me. To me, it comes off as nothing more than a PR move by the McCaskey family that owns and operates the Chicago Bears. It's a panic move. It's a desperation move. It's just throwing a little tiny bone to your fandom to say, okay, we know how bad we are, and we know we just humiliated you on a Monday night stage against the New Orleans Saints, and we know he was pathetic again, so you know what? We're going to bench him. Help me out here. If, in fact, your goal is to trade him, which would be the easiest and most profitable way out from under the record contract that you gave him, making him the highest paid player in the NFL this year, you need to maximize your leverage. So if, in fact, you're going to shop him when the season is over, you have to let him play the last two games and just hope against hope that he has one of those good Jay Cutler games, which we know he is highly capable of having. So they play the Detroit Lions, one of the top defenses, at home this weekend. What if Jay Cutler had a good game? Wouldn't it up his ante a little bit more for the Bears? Wouldn't it increase their leverage just a little bit more? Then they go to Minnesota. Could he have a good game there? He could. Again, they're out of it. They're 5-9. But why would you bench him now in favor of a Jimmy Clausen who has no future in the league as a starting quarterback? If you told me you had a rookie that you kind of liked, even a third or fourth round pick, and you said, we want to see what the kid can do, I get that. But it's not Jimmy Clausen. I was on record before the draft. I never liked Jimmy Clausen when he was at Notre Dame. He's not a starting quarterback.